Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, December is here, 2022 is drawing to a close, so it's time to take a look back over this past year and try to round up what were some of my favorite products that I've used. And we're talking about razors today, and I'm going to give you my top 10 favorite razors for 2022. Simply put, these are the razors that I really enjoy using, that I go back to time and time again. And one limitation I put for myself is I only want one razor per razor maker or brand. That way I'm not doubling up. However, where appropriate, I will be giving you some honorable mentions, especially I think there's a few points where two razors were in contention for the spot, but I could only choose one. So I'll at least give a nod to any razors that were in the running. Now, just a disclaimer, this of course is my own list, my own opinions. Your opinions may differ because your face is different from mine. Your shaving needs are different from mine. So there's no right or wrong to this kind of list. But, folks in the comment section like to, deal with absolutes and black and white. That simply is not what we're doing here today. You're just really getting a list of my favorite razors. So first up at number 10, I have for you a very special razor because both Gerard and I, through Lather Talk, were able to make this come into being. It is the Henson Aluminum Aggressive. And not to say they didn't make prototypes or like a small run before we talked to Daniel, the CEO of Henson, but through that conversation, through his appearance on the podcast, we were able to make a small run of these available to the public for the first time. And since then, other vendors have been able to order the same setup, basically the aluminum Henson, in an aggressive setting. And it might be aggressive, but that is in the in the ecosystem of Henson, which in general have very user-friendly, very beginner-friendly razors. They tend to be very mild, low in blade feel with varying efficiency. There's a mild blade, a medium blade, and this aggressive. So my favorite is the aggressive for sure. And I think just the fact that it was a special project that we took on earlier this year to see that through, make it happen, and make some fellow wet shavers happy because multiple people were asking for this. Well, this had to be on the list. So at number 10 again, this is the Henson Aggressive in aluminum. Hey guys, quick note, apologies for the wardrobe change, maybe the lighting change. So apparently I made a mistake and lost the footage for the rest of the list. So this is my second attempt at recording the rest of my top 10 razors for 2022. So next up at number 9 is my first vintage entry for this list. In general, I prefer more contemporary razors, but I couldn't not put a gem razor on the list. And here we have the Everready 1912 in the ornate handle. You can see the branding on the back rather. And this is a funky razor. For those who have never used a gem razor, I highly recommend it. This one I was lucky enough to pick up from London Razors over on Etsy, as well as a regular website. This is new old stock, in case you're wondering why it looks so darn shiny. Either this 1912 or a Gem Junior would treat you just as well. One I'm very excited about, one way to mix up my shaves, spice things up maybe a little bit for the wet shaving enthusiast. But yeah, again, number 9, we're talking about Everready 1912. Next at the number 8 spot is the Merkur 34G. This could just have easily been the 34C as well. I've mentioned on the channel before, the 34C was my first safety razor. That's what kicked off this journey. It has since moved on to a friend that was getting into wet shaving, tried some more affordable razors, and I wanted him to try something just for a little bit more money. Clearly the one I'm talking about today is the gold-plated 34G, but performance is exactly the same. I just happened to get a great deal on this one from friend of the channel, Shave326. This is also kind of unique in that it is a 2-piece razor. So if I loosen the bottom a little bit more, You'll see here, it is not the 3-piece razors, which I think most of my razors are 3-piece. This is fairly unique. It's got a shorter handle too compared to my other razors. But I think these factors help it stand out besides the lovely finish here. Just a note, if you do go and spring for the 34G and you polish this up, be careful. In general, try not to drop this guy. I do, and I've heard stories about the plating coming off over time. So I do pamper this one a little bit. So just a word of caution. Again, we're talking about Merkur 34G. At the number 7 spot is a razor that offers a great bang for the buck. We're talking about the RazoRock Game Changer. This one in particular is the 0.84 head, although it does come in other options like a 0.68 millimeter blade gap, as well as open comb versions of both blade gaps. I got the straight bar 0.84. This is a moderate blade feel and a higher efficiency than a lot of my other razors. The handle here, which there are a number to choose from. This is the Super Knurl. Great grippiness, really enjoy the look. This one really does offer a great price for a solid stainless steel razor. I think it's around $50 or $60 USD. But this one is great for, multiple days worth of growth, a week plus. This would have no problem doing it. I do usually pair it with a milder blade, something that's smooth like an Astra SP or like a Gillette Silver Blue, something like that. The RazoRock razors have been around for a number of years. I feel like they've really cemented their place at their price point for sub $100 razors that perform excellently. So again, we're talking about the RazoRock Game Changer 0.84. Taking the number 6 spot is a new razor just premiering this year. That is the Aylesworth Dracont stainless steel razor. Mine is currently on loan to the members of the Ladder Talk Discord on a pass around. Quick plug for the Discord. We have pass arounds, giveaways, and other fun stuff and interaction. If you're looking for a Wedge Haven community, we invite you to come. It's free to join, and you can check things out. No obligation to stay. The Dracont just has an excellent standout design, as you can tell from this footage I've pre-recorded. This one has low blade feel and has about medium to medium low efficiency. That's kind of my sweet spot as far as many of the razors you'll see on today's list. The name Dracont, translated from Swedish, I believe, is Dragon's Edge. So for those of you into video games, fantasy, those of the geekier persuasion might find that as a bonus. But bottom line, this is a great everyday razor that looks good doing its job. Next up at number 5 is my other vintage selection. It is the Gillette English Flat Bottom Tech Safety Razor. For those of you who have tried the very mild tech razor before, this one offers more efficiency, maybe a tad more blade feel as well. I feel like this is a vintage razor that shares a lot of common properties and performance with the modern razors I like. That's probably why it's taken the place as my favorite vintage razor. That title was previously held by the Gillette Red Tip, which I still own and I still use on occasion, but the English Flat Bottom Tech offers a overall smoother experience with, I feel like, a similar efficiency. If you're looking for that experience of low blade feel and moderate efficiency in the vintage razors, I highly recommend trying this one. So again, we're talking about Gillette's English Flat Bottom Tech. Moving on to number 4, we have from Charcoal Goods, the Everyday Razor. This one is stainless steel. It's got a hollow handle, so the weight, it looks like it'd be a chunky boy, but it's actually fairly light for a stainless steel razor. I really like the performance. It was between this one and the level 2 current generation, but I found the overall smoother shave experience of the Everyday was more for me. Between the two razors, the level 2 does have more efficiency, but I did find it more abrasive to my skin. So if I had to have one Charcoal Goods razor on this list, it was going to be the Everyday. While I don't love the handle design itself, it's fine, it's serviceable, but the head shape is nice. You can see some, hopefully the camera can pick it up, but the line work, I'm not sure what to call it, but there's some light texture and pattern to the top cap, which I like. Also, this one and the previously mentioned Game Changer, it's a little different. And let me show you where the posts are in the top cap. I probably should have shown you in the Game Changer, but the top cap does not have the post other than the main thread. Instead, when you load the blade, you rest it on the nubs on the base plate here. So a little different. Sometimes a little trickier to load than, as if the posts or in the top cap. I do prefer that design, but we do this for a variety, right? There's no reason that one person needs 10, 20 plus razors, but we are hobbyists, we're enthusiasts. That's why you're watching this list, right? So again, we're talking about Charcoal Goods Everyday Safety Razor. All right, so we've cracked the top 3. I'm sure you guys are waiting with bated breath what I've chosen. So number 3 spot is gonna be the Rockwell 6S. I don't know if you guys saw that coming. Maybe you did. But the Rockwell 6S and actually the 6C as well. If that's your first razor, and I know some people that is their first razor, then I think you've chosen really well. The only caveat with that is sometimes with the 6 different plate options, that might be too many options. Like in the beginning, you're trying to figure out the right angle, the right pressure, all that really important stuff. Technique, technique is king. If you're just starting out, really just stick to the 1, 2, or 3 plate and work on that technique till it feels comfortable, till it feels intuitive before swapping out here and there willy-nilly. I consider the 6S an upgrade to the 6C. You're bringing in stainless steel. It's a greater weight to it. One thing that you should watch out for is the finish. Not everyone loves this finish. It's like a matte finish. Something about the manufacturing process. It's almost like a bead blast kind of thing going on. Matte finish. Some people who really like shiny razors, this it can be shine, but it takes a lot of work to do so. But as far as performance goes, this guy is great. I've traveled with this one, and I usually stick with the 5 or the 6 plate. I used to be a 4 plate guy, but some point in the past year or so, the 5 plate just feels right. I never really change it out anymore. It's like permanently affixed to my 6S. Overall, a really great razor. I'm surprised every time I reach for it and wonder why I don't use it more. I mean, the answer is I always have new things coming in, being borrowed or picking them up. That's the real answer, but it's such a pleasure whenever I do use the 6S. And if you've never tried it, give this or its 6C sibling a try. Now, taking the number 2 spot, this was a tough one because in general, I'm choosing, one razor per razor maker, brand, or artisan, what have you. So it was between this guy and another model. Let me just show you. This is the Carve Overlander. And this is the brass version. But the Overlander, in terms of my preference for low blade feel, moderate efficiency, does it and does it with style. The other razor I was telling you about that was in contention for this spot was the Christopher Bradley. I used the C plate. That one, having had it longer, has developed a wonderful patina, having a slightly aged look. I've got it nice and uniform, and it's well loved. But I think as far as just performance goes, what I wind up reaching for, it's the Overlander. I know a lot of people are fans of this one. Friend of the channel, One Past Ben, calls this the Goatlander. And I don't blame him. This is a truly wonderful razor. In general, Carve really knocks it out of the park in terms of function and design. So while I did have difficulty choosing between the 2 razors from Carve was going to be at this spot no matter what. So again, number 2, Carve Overlander. Finally, we've come to the number 1 spot on the list. This is the number 1 spot for 2022. Who knows what the future holds? But my current greatest of all time, my personal GOAT razor, Blackland Blackbird Titanium. Was there any doubt? I think any regular viewers of the channel will know I love this razor. It's funny in that it goes against what I mentioned all through this video, which is low blade feel, moderate efficiency. This razor, it is probably medium blade feel and high efficiency for my face and for my beard growth. When I shave with this, I probably don't get much beard growth for another 2 or 3 days after the shave. I am kind of good, set, done as far as my shaving needs go, and it just feels great. The titanium weight is just right. This basically just destroys what I think are my expectations or preferences, because I don't mind a hefty razor. I mean, I quite enjoy a hefty razor. I quite enjoy low blade feel, but this one, I don't know, just after every shave, I just keep touching my face. How smooth it gets me, how fun it is to use. Also another one, you know, where the style, the design of this one, sleek, modern. While titanium is quite an expensive material, there's something magical that happens in the Blackbird, in that metal. This is just a phenomenal razor, and to be honest, the distance between razors 2 through 10 is incremental, and there's definitely ones I can swap the places between most of it. I would say probably the Carve Overlander is pretty firmly in place, and the rest of the razors, it's just kind of how I'm feeling that day. The number one spot though is number one by quite the margin between one and all the rest. So that's how much I like the Thai-Bird here. So number one, it's my goat. It's the Blackland Blackbird Titanium. All right, so that's my list. Do you guys agree? Disagree? Do you want to share with me your top razors? It doesn't have to be 10. It can be however many you want. Either way, go down to the comments section. Let me know. If you want to scream at me because I left your favorite razor off, go right ahead. Have a field day. If you have a razor that you think I should really check out, also, I want to hear. I'm always open to suggestions. But that's going to do it for my first top 10 list, top whatever list for 2022. Keep your eyes out for more because they're coming. We're gonna talk about shave soap, we're gonna talk about brushes, all that good stuff. Anyhow, thank you guys so much for joining me for this video. I know it's a busy time of year, so I really do appreciate the time you've taken and joined me to hear about my favorite razors. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.